Kent's inheritance, but she needs to create a new heir. Luckily, Big Jim left a deposit in a certain kind of bank.
Oh, yeah, there's gallons of it.
This is Kent's buddy Victor. He and Ken are out to prove that Jane killed Big Jim. See? That wasn't so hard.
Thursday at 8:30 on WGN Channel 9.
An anthology on the bad, the short-lived, and the forgotten shows and events in television history. You are listening to It Was a Thing on TV.
On this week's Super Train Mystery, Hail to the Chief. Two dwarfs and a magician replace a presidential candidate with a double so real, even his wife can't tell.
Episode 528. Submission number 690.
Nice times 10. Didn't expect it from me, I bet. Ha!
Bustle. Bustle aired on the WB from January 11th to May 24th of 1995 for 13 episodes. Picture it. It's the naughty 90s. What is the go-to genre on television in this period?
The situation comedy with friends.
Okay, what is the other go-to genre in primetime?
Soaps?
Soaps. We're living in the era of 90210, Melrose Place. We've graduated from Falcon Crest and Dynasty. The primetime soap is ripe for parody. Enter one Rob Lezebnik.
What kind of a name is that?
What type of name is Greg Diener? Thank you.
Damn.
I was just saying that from the perspective of Rob Lezebnik. Nothing against Greg.
Just so happens, a prolific writer for The Simpsons nowadays.
Oh.
But early on, he was cutting his teeth on this show, which he actually developed with Paul Juggerwit and Tony Thomas.
Oh, I can see what. Okay. Because I was thinking it, and now I have it confirmed.
The WB was looking for one more show for its opening night lineup. We have the Wayans brothers, which is obviously a vehicle for Sean and Marlon Wayans. The Parenthood, our situation comedy featuring Robert Townsend. Unhappily Ever After, which is basically Jamie Cullner saying, I'm going to make my own Married with Children.
With blackjack and hookers and Bobcat Goldthwait as a puppet.
No, there's no blackjack and hookers. There's just a rabbit puppet.
And Nikki Cox. Are we forgetting Nikki Cox? So now we need one more kind of sort of familiar but also edgy sitcom to fill in that last half hour of programming for the WB. So Rob Lezebnik teamed up with Paul Juggerwit and Tony Thomas, who did Soap a generation earlier, to create sort of a kind of a soap for the next generation. The central plotline is this. Big Jim Atkinson, the president and founder of a chain of gyms known as the Survival Gym, has been murdered. Poisoned in the first episode. His son Kent, a former alcoholic and drug addict, was determined to figure out who the killer was and bring him or her to justice. His original suspect? his stepmother, and the new president of survival gyms, Jane Atkinson.
So what you're saying is, it was murder.
Yes, Lionel Stander, it was murder.
Murder?
Murder most foul.
Oh, it was murder. Yes, Santa, it was murder.
It was murder.
What the heck are you doing? Get out.
Whammy, I got a question. What did you do for your New Year's resolution?
It was murder.
No, Whammy, he's not talking about the whole it was murder thing. No, that running gag, that ended like a minute ago. He wants to know what you did for New Year's.
Went to Times Square and stole some money. A lot of rich people at Times Square.
How could you do that, Whammy? It was raining outside.
Am I going to melt when it rains? No.
I mean, he does have a good point. He's not going to melt. He's not like a gremlin or a snowman or something.
Stop staring at me, Whammy. Why do you always do that to me?
So yeah, I took everybody's money and I invested it in Bitcoin or some crap.
I did not know the Whammy is a crypto bro.
Actually, I think you've given me an idea. I think I'm going to start my own crypto. I'll call it Whammy Coin.
Whammycast, you're gonna shoot it straight to the moon.
Straight to the moon.
Whammy, I think you just need to go sit down and reconsider your decisions in the new year. There you go.
A lot of moving parts of this whole ordeal, so try and follow me here. Ken Atkinson, the son of the founder of Survivor Gyms, is looking to find who killed his father, Jim Atkinson. He suspects his stepmother, Jane Atkinson. By the way, the age gap is phenomenal. They're almost the same age. In fact, the ultimate act of rebellion between Kent and Big Jim would be for Kent to sleep with Jane, which is edible, but not quite really.
Yeah, but that's the plot of like every like stepmother porn movie.
Kent's cousin, Bronwyn Jones, is a local TV news anchor who is a closeted lesbian.
Woo!
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Robert Bingham would try and blackmail her in order to keep her secret. We have a pair of trainers. The female trainer, Cleo, is a struggling actress who is using this as a springboard to further her career. And the male trainer, Sam, is a sweet but not too bright and insecure bodybuilder who has a crush on Bronwyn, and he doesn't exactly know of her proclivities, as it were.
He doesn't know she doesn't play for his team.
She doesn't swing that way, right?
Bisexuality is not a thing yet. Let's remember this.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't invented until 2000. How dare we think otherwise?
No, it wasn't invented until there was like a Newsweek cover story introducing it. Like, oh, this is like a big thing. Bisexuality.
It wasn't invented until Jim Bisexuality made it a thing back in 2002. Prove me wrong. Show me there's not a Jim Bisexuality who created bisexuality.
Anyway, among the clients of Survival Gym, we have a successful criminal defense attorney by the name of Garrett Hines, who will do anything to get his clients off. We also have Johnny, a gigolo who used the gym to meet potential dates. And we have a former stockbroker on Wall Street who cross-dresses to try and get on Bronwyn's good side. We have a psychiatrist who worked at the gym, notorious for constantly revealing things told to him in the confidence of his practice. We have Victor, the manager, who is often poorly treated by Big Jim and becomes a suspect in his murder. Angela, another trainer who has a crush on Johnny. And then we have Big Jim, who's killed in the first episode. Does everybody get all that?
Sure.
Good. Let's talk about the cast, shall we? Playing our main character, Ken Atkinson, is Dan Godier, who you would remember from Tour of Duty. I know I remember him as that schmuck Brian Hansen from Saved by the Bell Hawaiian Style.
Oh, that's right. Mike, you weren't here for Saved by the Bell Hawaiian Style. That was when you were in the hospital.
Right.
But let me say this. Saved by the Bell Hawaiian Style is just batshit insane. Especially the part where Mr. Belding dressed up as Albert Einstein, I remember. He was trying to explain to Brian Hansen and Kelly about the native land to the Patuku or whatever.
Yes, it is from him where I learned the actual state motto of Hawaii. Ua ma'uke ea o ka aina I ka pono. The life of the land is perpetuated with righteousness.
I thought Chica was having a stroke there.
Look, that's exactly how Dennis Haskins acted that scene.
I think I'll stick to watching The Powers of Matthew Starr in the hospital.
Playing Jane Atkinson is very beautiful, very young, very British stepmother, Shannon Kenny, who is actually Australian. She voiced Rachel Leeds in 8 episodes of Max Steel and played Claire Keepley, the Keeper, in 45 episodes of Invisible Man.
Wait, Invisible Man, was it about John Cena?
Playing Cousin Bronwyn, Amy Peets, known for her role as Annie Spadaro in Caroline in the City.
And she has a signed Star Trek Next Generation card in Rittenhouse.
Playing Cleo, or her Southern Belle persona, Lorna Louise, Wendy Benson Landis. She would actually be in 24 episodes, 1 season's worth, of Unhappily Ever After from 1997 to 1999. So off and on for 2 seasons, it looks like. Playing Garnet Hines, Michael Boatman from Spin City.
Well, better things would come to him. I'm sure nobody else from this show would be on Spin City.
Playing the gigolo Johnny, noted character actor Nestor Carbonell.
From Suddenly Susan.
And Lost and Bates Motel. He's done a lot.
And he was in The Dark Knight.
And, at least where I remember him from, he was on the Tick live-action series back in the early 2000s.
The first one. The one that didn't get renewed.
The one that should have gotten renewed.
Oh, man. Talking about Suddenly Susan and Caroline in the City. Feel like I wish it was back in 1996 again.
Playing Sam Pippin, the main male trainer, Steve Henneberry. You would best know him as Tower from American Gladiators.
Oh, that's fantastic. But I will say this, he was no Malibu.
Jeez.
I say this because I know what Malibu's known for.
Hey, Malibu, after you got drilled by that human cannonball, I thought, hey, there is no way this guy is going to live to play another day. You're alive. You're well. What happened? Did you go to the hospital? Did you get x-rays?
Well, dude, it's like this. I saw this guy coming, and I took the most excellent hit of my life. The next thing I knew, I was on the beach, taking in some cosmic rays, getting healed by Mother Nature, taking a little brewski, holding on to beautiful babe, and I'm fine today.
So no hospital, no doctors, just Mother Nature, huh?
Oh, I'm a child of Mother Nature. What do you expect?
Malibu, you are truly amazing. He took a licking, and he is still ticking.
Sweet.
Couple of known entities on the cast next, playing Robert Bingham, Jerry Levine, known mostly for his work on Going Places and less for being that creepy center owner, Mr. Mac, from that episode of Boy Meets World where Sean joins his cult.
Wow, what a coincidence that character would have the last name Mac in a cult, where later we would have Allison Mack. I'm sure Allison Mack will never turn up on this podcast whatsoever. Just like how Michael Boatman is going to be the only person from Spin City on this show. Jerry Levine is going to be the only person from Going Places that's going to be on this show. Wink.
Also, a little fact about Nestor Carbonell. He's been married to Shannon Kenny since 2001.
Oh.
So Jane Atkinson and Gianni, they've been a couple for going on 25 years.
It all began here. Wow.
I think that's the only answer. You're absolutely right.
Playing Marshall Gold, the Jim Shrink, Alan Ruck, who is in both Spin City and Going Places.
Oh my God. I didn't expect this, but oh my God, it now all of a sudden makes sense. We have a link from Going Places to Spin City, and this is in the middle. And we have somebody who is also in Going Places, and we have somebody who is also in Spin City. This is like the most incredible thing I've ever heard. This is like God is shining upon us. This series has come to us for a reason, guys.
Yeah, the reason is there was a hole in the schedule and we need to fill it.
By the way, you can't see this, but Mike just walked out when I said it. He was like, oh, Jesus Christ, Greg, really?
Playing Victor, T.E. Russell, who is actually in 6 episodes of 704 Hauser, the last, as of this recording, entry into the All in the Family pantheon.
Yeah, because it was set in the house that the Funkers lived in.
Playing a character by the name of Angela.
Angela?
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 I step away for 2 minutes to go take a little bathroom break, and this is what I come back to? Angela?
Oh, Angela? I'm glad you didn't walk out because I said this series was preordained by God for us to cover because of the connection to both Going Places and Spin City.
It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with weak bladder.
Oh.
Anyway, playing Angela.
Angela
is Michelle Brianna White, who nowadays you can see as part of the Black Mafia family in the TV series BMF.
You know what that stands for?
Black Mafia family.
Sure.
I thought BMF was a sandwich you can get at Subway.
No, I think that's a sandwich you can get at Mr. Submarine.
Is that the one that Scottie Pippen dunked into the basket?
Isn't that true, Scotty?
Ladies, let's have a party.
And folks, you'll find out more about that commercial in Hometown Commercials Volume 6 this year.
Hometown Commercials Volume 6. We still haven't learned our damn lesson.
Okay, episodes, thanks to Google, because neither IMDb nor Wikipedia has a complete episode guide. Episode 1. Upper East Side Fitness Club shapes bodies and love lives.
Ooh.
We have to start out by offing Big Jim, playing the soon-to-depart Big Jim, Adam West.
Nobody messes with Adam Wee.
But hold on, we did cover him in our very first pilot month back in 2020 with Look Well.
One of the best pilots that didn't get picked up ever. That was brilliant. But anyhow, going back to the synopsis.
That's it. That was the synopsis.
Oh, I thought that was the episode title.
No, the episode titles is Episode 1, Episode 2.
Oh, I thought that was the episode title because I heard that and I'm like, That's the longest episode title ever about Big Jim getting offed and blah, blah, blah. Okay, never mind then. So I guess we could just move to episode 2.
Episode 2. Big Jim dies upon finding his wife and son together.
Like I said, that still sounds like an episode title. Big Jim dies when he finds his wife and son together or whatever.
Episode 3. Theatrical saboteur Cleo. Sperm bank burglary. Kent is arrested for his father's murder. One of the schemes that Jane Atkinson has to keep control of Survival Jim is to become pregnant with Big Jim's child using his previously frozen
Man-seed.
You know who she could consult with? Those seamen from CPO Sharky.
Oh,
so if they did this sperm bank robbery 7 times a week, you could say it was Seaman Daily.
That'd help.
You know what? They got away with it, but unfortunately they were caught with sticky fingers. But unfortunately they were caught with sticky fingers. But unfortunately they were caught with sticky fingers. But unfortunately they were caught with sticky fingers.
Episode 4. Jane wants Jim's baby, and Kent faces charges.
So he was the sticky-fingered suspect. Okay, it all makes sense now.
I hate to say this, but can you say that again, Mike?
No.
Good.
Boy, I hope that comes out in the end, or else I will have to say it again.
Good night, everybody!
No, oh my God, Chico, there was, you and the presumptiveness about, all these double entendres that are floating through your mind. They're all in your head. I'm not purposely saying any of them.
Episode 5. Authorities grill Jane about Big Jim's death of a presumptive heart attack, while Marshall testifies and Garnet has a stunning defense. Episode 6. Cleo plans to be Jane's surrogate, while Kent and Victor find evidence.
One name in this episode, playing a film director. Don't know how that comes into play with all this, but playing the film director is somebody we've talked about in the past. Name rings a bell. Sandy Helberg. Dr. Schlotkin in Spaceballs. But we did talk about him previously on Get a Life, Platypus Man, and we talked about him on an episode of Whiz Kids. And also he was on an episode of Madam's Place. So there's 4 places we talked about him.
I believe the film director will come into play in episode 7. Cleo realizes that her big break involves more exposure than she thought, and Johnny moves in with Angela.
So she moves in with Angela.
No, he moves in with Angela, Greg.
That's what I said.
You said, I thought you said she.
I heard she.
I said Angela.
No, we're saying you said she instead of he.
No, I didn't say that. I said Angela.
Oh my gosh.
Let's do some more exposition here. Johnny, being a gigolo, initially resists being with Angela because of her lack of money. But he realized he did in fact love her. Now, Angela's parents run a pet store specializing in birds and fish. They didn't have much money, but they did love each other. That's what Angela wants. Someone she could share a romantic relationship with. So obviously, she ends up with the gigolo.
Would you believe we actually have a name in this episode? Playing Karen Anders is Carolyn Lawrence. Maybe not a person you've heard of, but she has a pretty big role in television history over the last 25 years, let's say. She voices Sandy Cheeks on SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, man. Sandy Cheeks. Well, hold on a second. We can say this series technically produced the Super Bowl sideline reporter, because remember, Sadie Cheeks did the sideline report at the Super Bowl for Nickelodeon.
Where's my send help sign?
Episode 8. To prevent being poisoned, Kent stops eating, and the results of Cleo's pregnancy test hatches a secret plan. Kent finds out that Jane asked Cleo to be the surrogate for Big Jim's baby, and Kent seduces Cleo, asking her not to agree to be the surrogate. What he didn't know was that Cleo already had the procedure. She ended up being pregnant. She didn't know whose the baby's father was, Kent or Big Jim. But whoever it was would end up inheriting a huge fortune from the Atkinson family. But there was also that film director from earlier. So it's Kent, Big Jim, or that film director from earlier. Episode 9. Sam threatens to throw Karen off the roof. Guy takes Marshall and Garnet captive. And Kent fears food poisoning. Episode 10. Guy still holds Garnet and Marshall captive, while Peretti suspects Jane and Kent in the Big Jim murder. By the way, Guy, the person holding the captive, played by Brent Hinckley, who played Butch in the Star Trek Voyager 3rd season episode Future's End Part 2. He was also in the Seinfeld episode The Merv Griffin Show. Episode 11. Kent and Jane want Cleo's pregnancy kept secret, and Garnet and Marshall try to dig their way out of Guy's clutches.
I think this was the part of the episode I saw on YouTube. And let me just say, I said to you guys in the chat, this is batshit insane.
Episode 12. Johnny is hit by a car. Bronwyn finds Big Jim's diary, and Marshall and Garnet escape Guy Devore. Episode 13. Sue the secretary confesses to Big Jim's murder. Robert dreams of woman, and Johnny dreams of walking. There is another episode that is listed by Google but not listed by IMDb. It involves Robert coming to Angela and Johnny's wedding in drag, and a character named Donnie, and a machine gun. 3 guesses what happens after that.
Forget the first 2. I'll just say it right here. According to Wikipedia, the show ends with all the characters being shot and killed off. So it's kind of sort of like the finale of I Married Dora, where I think they knew the writings on the wall, they're being canceled, and instead of saying, hey, we missed our flight, and we're also being canceled, they just said, you know what, we're going out with, well, and I say this, no pun intended, with a bang, or multiple bangs.
We never find out who the baby's daddy is, and everybody gets shot in a massacre. And we still don't know who actually killed Big Jim. Suffice it to say, a lot of dangling participles with this show. As we said, the show aired Wednesdays at 9:30 on the WB. After a 1-hour preview episode on the WB's opening night, January 11th, 1995, which aired opposite Dateline, Party of 5, on CBS, something called Double Rush and Love and War, and the duo of Roseanne and Ellen. And it would consistently rank the worst show on the entire 4-show network. Of the 4 shows that made up the WB that first season in 1995, it was the only show that did not see a season 2. The show does not exist in any home media form. It was not released outside of the country, and bits and pieces are scattered on this whole internet if you know where to look.
But guys, this had Alan Ruck. It had Michael Boatman. It had Jerry Levine. This should have been a success. This was like a 1990s soap.
That's exactly what they were going for.
This should have been a hit. I know it was on the WB, but you know what? I'm going to say this again. Just like Scorch, this should have gotten 6 seasons in a movie. Mike disagrees, but he's wrong. In my world, it would have gotten 6 seasons in a movie.
How would you explain everybody being massacred at the end, though?
Well, I think you mentioned that earlier, Chico, that was like a 14th episode. So maybe not an episode, but maybe it's sort of like an alternate ending, not unlike, let's say, the Clue movie. You got 3 different endings there. Why couldn't this show have 2 endings? One where everybody gets killed off if the series is canceled, and then a second one where there's not as much tragedy and you develop some sort of cliffhanger into a second season.
After May, you didn't have to worry about that because, if I'm not mistaken, the WB would just double up on Unhappily Ever After until the new season started.
Well, America really wanted to see more Bobcat Goldthwait as that puppet. Wait, hold on a second. Simon wasn't on yet in 1995, right?
No.
Oh, that's a shame. I really want some Jason Bateman and Harlan Williams in 1995.
Simon, I don't believe, would have started until that fall.
Oh, okay. So he had to wait a few more months for Jason Bateman and Harlan Williams.
Muscle, it came, it went, and it was forgotten all within the span of 13 weeks. And it became the first thing on TV that the WB ever canceled.
You can find us at our website, itwasathingontv.com, on Facebook at It Was a Thing on TV podcast, and elsewhere at It Was a Thing on TV. You can find us on any podcast player, and we're also on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our releases, including what's coming up next time.
Talked about the first thing WB ever canceled. Well, I guess technically we're going to be talking in our next episode about the first thing that XTV ever canceled. But it's not because the show was bad. It's because there was another reason why. But until we change some reels to our next episode, you'll have to catch it on Monday, right here at It Was a Thing on TV. Thank you for listening. I'm Greg. That was Mike. And that was Chico. And we'll see you next week. Rah! So, guys, I know, considering who was on this show, what will cheer us up to close us out. Okay, you ready?
Sunday, Corky's off to Chicago, but nothing goes as planned on Life Goes On. Then, the next America's Funniest Home Videos is so spontaneously, hysterically, unequivocally funny, it'll bring a laugh to your mouth. After, meet millions of twisted individuals on an all-new America's Funniest People. Sunday. Now, stay tuned for 2020. Next.
And by coincidence, okay, Chico, do you want to say who in the 12-second work of the video who was a guest star in this episode?
Ryder Strong as David.
Yeah. So we know Jerry Levine was already doing some early recruiting for that cult. Oh, hold on a second. I got an amazing discovery before we close this out for good.
Now here's the host of Amazing Discoveries, Mike
Klaus.
With Greg Diener.
Now, guys, I got an amazing discovery related to Ferris Bueller's Day